Good morning once again from the Red River Gorge. Today we'll be visiting Gray's Arch. Approximately a quarter mile from the Gray's Arch parking area, you'll run into an intersection here. This is Rough Trail. A left here would take you down past D. Boone Hut and on down towards Martin's Fork. Going to the right, this is the way we'll be going. Takes us to Gray's Arch. As I mentioned in my last video, legal camping sites are 100 yards from the trail. Here's a well-established campsite, and it may be 50 feet off the trail. That would be an illegal campsite. Just keep that in mind, even though it's easy access, could land you a ticket. For those who may be looking for a legal campsite, when you get to this large tree that's down, you'll come just past it and you'll see some user trails that cut off to the left here. These follow a ridge line, and up through there you can find several established campsites that are legal campsites. We're into the third week of June, and as you can see, the rhododendron are finally starting to bloom. At just shy of a mile into the trail, you'll approach this piece of fence here. And this will be our first chance to catch a glimpse of Gray's Arch. This time of year it's a little thick vegetation, so it's kind of hard to see. This is your first look at Gray's Arch. Just around the corner from the overlook, you'll approach this large rock shelter, one of many nice rock shelters you'll see on this trail. At a tenth of a mile from the overlook, we get to encounter everybody's favorite, stairs. Once you reach the bottom of the stairs, the trail will continue on around to the right. But if you look back to your left, you'll see a user trail. We'll take this trail to see an off-trail arch. Come down from the stairs and around the corner, and here is Mid-Step Arch. After leaving Mid-Step Arch, continue back to the trail, where you will come to this short staircase. This will be the last set of stairs as you come down to the intersection of the Gray's Arch Trail. And Rough Trail continues on around to the left. We'll come back to Rough Trail in a few minutes, but we're going to check out Gray's Arch. Is it really a hike if I didn't see one of my little orange friends? For those wondering, Gray's Arch Trail is back open. Here's the section of trail that had to be repaired. As you can see, this large tree here and another down tree over there fell away with the bank during the winter as we had the thaw and flooding made the ground really soft and the bank went over the hill. I almost forgot to mention, if you look up to your right from the piece of trail that has been repaired, this is Little Gray's Arch. The rock shelter here leading to Gray's Arch is one of the most impressive in the Red River Gorge. And as you've probably heard for a while, it does have a wet weather waterfall here in the corner. From parking, it is 1.3 miles to the base of Gray's Arch. If you look back to the right from the base of Gray's Arch, you can see just how massive this rock shelter is. Get a good look at the waterfall, and you can even see the trail leading across that we came from. If you walk through and under the arch, come around to the back side, this is personally my favorite side to photograph. As you can see, it has a lot of great texture in the arch. 30 a.m. and as you can see, my face is already leaking quite a bit. The main reason why I don't hike a lot this time of year is we come back down from Gray's Arch. You may have noticed on the way in there was a small user trail that kept going straight. And then if you go back left, that'll bring you back around to Rough Trail where we came from. But since we had a rain yesterday, let's follow this user trail on around and see what we find. Keep in mind, this is a user trail. At times it could become faint, so if you don't feel comfortable using a user trail or going off trail, this part of the hike may not be for you. This user trail is actually in really good shape, pretty clean for the most part. And if you question whether you're going the right way or not, just listen for the sound of water and follow it. Once you reach the rock shelter, the falls will come into view. And this is Gray's Arch Falls. You know your limitations better than I do. I'll share a few areas that are on user trails or maybe even off trail. If it's hard, I'll let you know that it's hard or difficult, and just keep that in mind. If you don't feel safe going off trail, just stay on the official trails. Definitely don't want anyone getting hurt or lost out here. After leaving the waterfall, you'll just want to backtrack the user trail back around to the base of Gray's Arch. Once we get back below Gray's Arch here, we'll intersect the trail and we'll follow it back around towards Rough Trail. As we come back over to the intersection of Rough Trail, if you want to make this hike an out and back from parking to the arch is 1.3 miles. So if you take a left and go back to the parking area from here, it'd put you at 2.6 miles on the out and back hike. We will follow Rough Trail around to the right though, and I'll show you a loop trail, and we will loop around to Rush Ridge and back to the parking area. As you start down Rough Trail, you'll come to this rock shelter on the left. This is one of my favorite parts of the hike because of the awesome geology that is in this rock shelter. And take a little photography break to photograph some Indian pipe. Coming down from Gray's Arch on Rough Trail towards King's Branch, you'll enjoy a nice woodland setting, and the trail is all downhill. About halfway down to King's Branch, you'll come across this large boulder with lots of trees growing along the top of it and the roots. This is always fascinating to me, all around the side of the rock. And if you take a closer look at the rock, it has lots of awesome geology and Liza gang banding. As you come down the hill and King's Branch starts to come into sight, if you look down the hill to your right, you'll see a large clear area, a well-established campsite. As you may have guessed, as close as this is to the trail, it is an illegal campsite. As a general rule of thumb, if you can see the trail from your campsite, it's not a legal campsite. Here are some posted rules and regulations of the Daniel Boone National Forest. And as you can see, just up the hill here and across the branch here, even behind another one of the signs, are illegal campsites. When you reach King's Branch, the trail does cross the branch, and even after the rain yesterday, the water's considerably low, so it makes for an easy walk across the rocks to the other side. Just around the corner from the first creek crossing, the trail goes right back across the creek and is another easy crossing with large rocks. Makes it easy to cross. Just a short walk on over, and we'll reach the third and final crossing of the branch. And this one probably has the best rocks of all the crossings. Now the fun begins. Back uphill. Mentioned earlier, know your limitations. It's summertime, it's hot. You don't want to be out here having a heat stroke. Be sure to take plenty of water with you. And if you need to, always stop and rest. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Just take your time, stay hydrated, don't get too hot. About 2/3 of the way up the hill, you'll come to this neat little staircase, because who doesn't love stairs? Just for reference, June and July are the only 2 months that I like rhododendron, because that's the only time that they're in bloom. Once you reach the top of the hill, you can go about 1/10 of a mile and come to an intersection here. If we were to go on to the left, that would follow Rough Trail on across to Chimney Top Road. But today we are making a loop back to Gray's Arch parking area, and we're going to follow Rush Ridge back around to Pincham Tap. If anybody follows me on Facebook or Instagram, probably familiar with what this is because I've posted it so much. This is a lichen, and its common name is British soldier moss. As you follow around Rush Ridge, there'll be several small rock outcrops and overlooks. Be sure to take the time to stop and take in these views, especially on a day like today. Also be careful not to get too close to the edge because that first step you won't be coming back from. Here we are coming up on our next intersection. This is where Rush Ridge meets Pincham Tight, which this section is also the Sheltawee Trace. If we were to take a left, that would follow back out and intersect with Rough Trail again. We're going to continue our loop by making a right here on the Pincham Tight and back to Tunnel Ridge Road. And here we've made it back to Tunnel Ridge Road, where we'll take a short road walk back down to the Grays Arch parking. And we've made it back to the Grays parking area. As you can see, this is another popular spot, especially this time of year. It's around 12 noon. All the parking spots are full in this little lot. And there's another lot just over to the right of this one. Can't see, but I'm sure it's pretty full as well. Had to have a wardrobe change. Totaled out that other shirt, it was soaked. It's always good to use an app or something to track your hike. Today I used Guy. I'll pop up a screenshot of today's trek. Let you see what that's like. I also use Topo Maps Plus, and Backcountry Navigator's another good one. Even though I don't recommend all trails, it's not all bad. It does have some good maps. You can track your routes and stuff on there as well. I just wouldn't suggest necessarily following other people's tracks all the time. Kind of have an idea of where you're going on your own, and that way you don't get lost. Especially up here in Red River Gorge, seems like about 90% or something of the people that get lost say they were following an all trails route. Hope you enjoyed today's adventure. If you would, give me a like, give me a subscribe. I'll try to make videos pretty regular if I can, even though it's hot and don't really like the heat. I'll do my best. Until next time, have a good day.